get right to tonight's Star Watch for this Thursday night tilt inside the Big East. It's brought to you by Bass Pro Shops.
Jeff Adrian, very quietly, an active double-double machine, a warrior in the words of his coach. 16 double-doubles leads the Big East. Jeff McDermott, 6'8", 235. They have him playing the one guard. He is a triple-double waiting to happen.
A look at the Papa John's starting lineups. We start with Connecticut. Price having a super season. Greg Austria joining him in the backcourt. Adrian and Robinson teaming up with Hashim Thabit, one of the top shot blockers in the country. And for Providence, it's Epijuku McKenzie, Xavier McDermott, and Randall Hankey, the junior. They are 14-14. And if you're on the bubble for the Big East tournament, you are the Providence Friars in a three-way tie right now with DePaul and St. John's for that 12th and final spot to get into the tournament. Great job by Epijuku to outbattle his man Price in the backcourt. There's block number one for Hashim Thabit. That took just a matter of about 8 seconds.
Well, Providence did two things well. We talked about the 14 threes. The other thing they did was they ran on Connecticut because Connecticut had poor shot selection in the first game. They got jump shot happy. Expect them to look inside, get touches before a jump shot comes in the blue shaded area.
A.J. Price averaging about 15 points per game. Shot clock down to 10 for Connecticut. From the corner, Price, his first one of the night, will not fall. He's cracked 20 points or better on 9 occasions. McDermott, a little bump there as he's fouled on his way up. And for more on the A.J. Price throwing down the gauntlet today, we bring in Alan Hopkins. Alan.
Thanks and good evening, Dave and Doris. Well, Providence coach Tim Welsh might have gotten some extra motivation for this game tonight as he made sure that everyone had a quote from A.J. Price last night. He went to every player's dorm room at curfew and said, make sure you read this quote before you go to bed, and every player did. I talked to Jeff McDermott, the Providence captain. He said he was already motivated to play this game, but now he's extra motivated to not only have a standout performance, but to make sure they prove A.J. Price wrong. And for a Providence team, Dave and Doris looking to win consecutive games since mid-January, I think Coach Welsh may have gotten some help thanks to some old-school bulletin board material.
All right, Al, thank you very much. Craig Austria, the first bucket of the night for the UConn Huskies.
Well, Jeff Xavier with the ball, and I told him, what was said. He said, we had an opposite reaction. He said, we were happy to go on the road and beat a quality team. He said, but we did not think we were over the top with it. He also said, when I read it, my palms got sweaty. I was anxious to get to the Civic Center, but I became more anxious. It was almost like I couldn't sleep last night.
Jeff McDermott with the answer for Providence. So 2-2 tie in the early moments. This game typically is a very, very hard-fought contest. Whenever it's Connecticut and Providence here in this building. A little bump there by Price. Got the feed into Hashim Thabit, and Hankey will foul him in the paint.
It's amazing that the road team has won the last 7 games between these two teams. It is rare to go to Hartford or Stores and beat a Jim Calhoun team 4 straight times, as Providence has done.
Thabit to the line. The 7'3" sophomore from Tanzania, where he has become a rock star back home. But of course, with that, one thing he's done is really improved his foul shooting. Worked very, very hard in so many phases of the game. With that, Doris, is his family and his friends back home are expecting the payoff now as an American star. Nice piece on him in the New York Times this week.
Well, Jim Calhoun said basically it's 50-50. As of right now today, 50-50 whether he goes to the NBA. If he goes, it will be a financial decision. If he stays, clearly it will be because he loves college. But you know what? If he stays, his second contract in the NBA will be a lot better because he's not ready yet.
Yankees setting a good screen. And Brooks with the pull-up pop, leaving it short. Marshawn Brooks, who came off the bench to score 15 in their overtime win against Cincinnati. Tim Welsh is wasting no time getting new bodies into this game in the very early minutes.
Well, Marshawn Brooks, a guy who you can play him in 3- and 4-minute spurts. He's physically, it's a challenge for him to play in a league as physical as this.
And near collision, Brooks comes out of the pack with it. As Providence wants to run, Xavier will pull up and pop, and that'll roll in for Jeff Xavier. 2-pointer with a 6'1" junior out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
The reason Providence scares people is they can shoot the ball. They can shoot it with range, and they can shoot it from multiple positions. So you've got to guard straight up defensively. 14
out of 24 from three-point land in that first meeting. But after that, Connecticut was pretty much unbeatable. They've only lost 1 time since then. The three-pointer won't fall by Craig Austria. And McDermott handling the a very good passer. He's 6'8", and one of the best passers inside the conference.
Amazing. He's a guy who rebounds at over 200 and over triple-digit assists each of the last 2 years.
Juku off to McDermott, would not shoot it. Here's Brooks, his second try, and that's too long. But a fresh shot clock now for Providence. Will get another opportunity. They are 5-11 in the Big East, trying to secure a spot in the top 12. You have to do that to qualify for the Big East tournament coming up inside the Garden. Right now, the three-way tie with DePaul and St. John's.
And they control their destiny because this is two teams that they have to beat, Connecticut and then Villanova.
Look at the bottom there as well. And again, the top 12 make the conference tournament. Villanova, the next opponent, and indeed the final regular season opponent coming up for Providence on the weekend. McDermott off to Efajuku. He spins in the paint. Right up, body to body against Hashim Thabit. The long one by McDermott clangs away to the right. But another shot clock and another opportunity. McKenzie won't wait. That'll fall in. Nice move by Brian McKenzie in his first bucket.
Well, McKenzie and Efajuku, two terrific athletes on the perimeter, and both can board it. And that was a point of emphasis yesterday at Providence's practice, making sure you rebound the basketball against a Connecticut team that's #1 in the league in rebound margin.
Adrian with a sweet fall away right up over Henke for his first bucket.
I'll tell you this, that guy just continues to produce. Active double-doubles leader in the Big East Conference. I don't think if you polled national media members that they might know that. I mean, that guy is just a solid performer.
Everybody knows it inside the Big East, though. He's upped his production the last 8 games to average a double-double. Here comes UConn on the attack, and Price trying to make good on his threat to bury the Providence Friars here on this court tonight. Austri getting inside with the quick dish underneath. Robinson has it slotted away by Henke. So it's not just Hashim Thabit who came to block shots here tonight. Providence and UConn. Often it goes right down to the bitter end. This one tied at 6. Here's a look at the state capitol here in downtown Providence, Rhode Island. It's our Thursday night showcase presented by T. Rowe Price. The Huskies and the Friars all tied up at 6. Coach's chalkboard doors taking inside of the duck-in here.
Well, Connecticut's won 12 of 13. One of the things they'll look to do tonight is Jeff Adrian will receive the ball at the free throw line. It'll be a duck-in by Hashim Thabit or a seal high or a kick to the shooter, depending on how it reacts defensively. Now, this is clearly a team that wants to go inside out against Providence's zone. They like to get behind the defense or right to the heart of the zone.
Thabit with a pair of blocks, 129 for the season, averaging over 4 per game, and once again Connecticut leading the country in block shots per game at about 9. They can be ferocious. 5 minutes in, though, no back down from the Providence Friars. Henke just came up with a big one on Robinson moments ago. Wiggins getting into the contest, finds Adrian with that left hand, but that will not fall for him.
That's a good shot, though. Excellent execution, gets a 2-3.
Henke, little contact there, but lays it up and in. His first bucket. Good patience there as he waited for Thabit to get a little room as he went by him.
You can't be shy. You have to understand that Thabit will block a few of your shots. You have to go chest to chest with him and not allow him space to block shots. Nice job by Henke to run the floor.
Adrian can't handle the dish, and on numbers for Providence, a 3-on-1. Back to McKenzie, and Wiggins got in there and knocked it away. Excellent defensive play by Doug Wiggins.
Well, Providence in transition, very good. Why? Well, their bigs run the floor incredibly well. Henke runs right down. They call this a rim run because you really can't guard without fouling in that position.
That's Brian McKenzie.
A quick strike by McKenzie off the inbounds. Connecticut coming in at 23-6. 12-4 in the Big East, a team that won all of 6 Big East games a season ago. What kind of job has Jim Calhoun done with this team, particularly with the suspensions midway through the season by Dyson and Wiggins? And the slam to finish things off. There's Robinson, who you believe, Doris, if they're going to make a Final Four run, and they have the ability to do that, he's the key.
I think so. I think you've got 4 quality guards. You've got a defender like Hashim Thabit that not many people can come with. He is the NBA level athlete, and he's the guy in the perimeter who can help them huge.
Efajuku with the 3, his first triple. Remember what an impact that had the first time they squared off. Providence, as Doris mentioned, can certainly hit those with anyone in the conference when they get them going. Adrian will try again right by Hankey. Deflected away. McDermott with a defensive stop. Ostry comes away with it, and UConn will set it up. And Hankey very, very active along with McDermott in that paint. Xavier tried to make the save, and he did. Flipped ahead to McKenzie. Efijuku finds Xavier for the three. Hankey working hard again. Nearly tied up there. UConn comes away with it. The beat hit the deck, but saved it.
Blown opportunity for Providence. They had numbers and good opportunities.
Wiggins trying to settle things down a little bit. Ostry finding Adrian on the back down, and he's going to get whistled for traveling. He turns it over. For one of the most storied rivalries in college hoops coming away Saturday night. Tyler Hansbrough and top-ranked North Carolina taking on number 5 Duke from Cameron. Coach K 32-32 all-time against Carolina as the Duke head coach.
Now, Ty Lawson, 10 points in his return to the lineup against Florida State. Obviously, his health will have a major impact as they advance deeper and deeper into the postseason. I'll tell you this. Quentin Thomas, a guy who in February carried that team to a 6-1 record. How does coach sort of keep him in the mix?
Efijuku out in front using the screen set by Callie, and now the shot will not go on the drive. AJ Price quiet in the early moments offensively. Tough shot there. Very difficult angle in traffic. McDermott able to hold on to that dribble that fired the pass away and turns it right over to UConn.
I want to go back to something you were talking about, Coach Calhoun, and the job he has done. And I know that there are a lot of people who think Mike Bray's the coach of the year. I think Jim Calhoun is. I mean, you think about the suspensions he had to endure. They get out of the gates maybe a little bit slower than they would have liked. But up until this week, they had a chance to be the Big East regular season champion. Listen, Mike Bray, they were picked preseason ninth. He's been fantastic. My vote would go to Coach Calhoun.
Wiggins off his fake, knocks down a two-pointer. Doug Wiggins with the bucket. One of those two suspended, along with Dyson. And they went 9-0 without Dyson in that lineup. And now it's become Calhoun's charge to find out where he belongs in the offense now.
Yeah, they need him. Make no mistake, they need Jerome Dyson.
Efijuku driving hard, and he winds up getting fouled on the baseline. Providence playing spirited basketball. A foul by Hashim Thabit, but the Friars at home lead by 3.
Tonight, how do you have Jerry West as low as you had him, number 6? That is potent list of players right there.
So before the break, Wemi Efijuku fouled by Hashim Thabit. Efijuku at 25 and lost to Georgetown on February 18th, so very capable, doing much more than at 11 in tonight's contest. He has 4 so far tonight.
Well, he's their best athlete. His performance has been a little bit up and down because he can go from 25 and then be non-existent for stretches. They need him to be special.
The Huskies have been a good road team. Away from Storrs, 7-3, 5-3 in the Big East. And the last time they lost was on the road January 17th. That was that loss to Villanova. Another life. Price won't wait around, and he knocks down the 3. A.J. Price, who hits 39% out there.
The unquestioned leader of this team. He's got the bravado that Connecticut teams are built on.
Look at McDermott handle the ball, though. He has 4 points and so dangerous because he's such a gifted passer.
6'8", 235. You don't expect to take it length the floor.
Adrian doing the back down, but turns it over on the traveling violation. That's 5 turnovers now for Connecticut, so a little bit sloppy here early on. 10:52 to go in a half.
Connecticut comes to a 2-2-1 pressure. Now this, generally speaking, they want to trap in certain spots, but they're looking to get some energy from this.
And they do get the senior Charles Birch into the game on the drive. Xavier tried to give it up, but they turn it over. Colley couldn't handle it. Second turnover for the Friars tonight. Price tried to kick it to Wiggins, but he gives it right back.
Xavier, a tremendous job defensively. Second in the league in steals per game.
McDermott really working hard. The jump shot by Xavier. All iron in and out, and it's Robinson with a rebound. One thing about Connecticut looking ahead to the NCAA tournament, they are so battle-tested. Played in so many close games. The jump shot on the way by Price. Off the back of that iron, and the rebound comes free. Thabit right back up, and the foul. He'll go to the line. Hasheem Thabit staying with it. Working hard inside that paint, and he'll be going to the line for the three-point play.
Well, from project to player, the guy's only been playing basketball for 5 years, but under this staff at Connecticut has really added to his arsenal offensively. Look at the use of the left hand.
Jonathan Cawley with the foul.
Well, you make a great point, Dave. The fact that Connecticut during that win streak of 10 straight, multiple single-digit wins. A year ago, they couldn't finish games, close people out. Now they seem to do it with regularity.
There have been 9 games Connecticut has decided by 4 points or less. McDermott bottled up, and the possession arrow will take it in Connecticut's direction. Let's check in now for more on Hasheem Thabit with our man, Alan Hopkins.
Thanks, Dave. Hasheem Thabit, you mentioned, from Tanzania, grew up playing soccer, and watch his skills here. I asked him when he stopped playing. He said when he got about 6'4", he realized he's going to be too tall to be playing soccer. But you see his skills and his footwork there are going to help him at the next level. One more thing I asked him, as he has more blocks than 9 teams in the Big East, what do you rather do, a ferocious dunk or blocks in one shot? He said, I like them both. I just want to be a complete basketball player.
So we had him against Georgia Tech at 25 and 14. He said, you know what, I'm tired of people talking about my liabilities offensively. Tonight, I showed him I could score it.
He had a little chip on his shoulder. I wanted to see how many he wound up juggling.
Yeah, that's right.
He maybe got to 15 or 20 there on those big feet.
The one thing he doesn't have clearly, because he's played only 5 years of basketball, the nuances of the game, the subtleties, how to feel a defender behind you, where exactly to cut to get open.
Once again, the quick hands of Jeff Xavier, his second steal in about a minute. He thought about the 3 out there. He is the leading scorer for the Friars at about 12 points per game. Hankey up against Hasheem Thabit, maybe the last time he does that tonight. That's the 3rd block for the 7-footer.
So this guy, Thabit, does a tremendous job. The reason I say go chest to chest, because watch what's going to happen. He is not going to get sucked into Hankey's body. He's going to keep it just enough space so that becomes an easy block with no foul.
McDermott trying to take it inside, up and over Adrian, and there's the stuff. Good follow by Hankey, who now has 4 points.
The dribble drive by McDermott sets that up. He beats Adrian, who is not used to guarding all the way out there, and that causes rotation and gives up an easy offensive board.
Robinson will loft the jump shot from the wing. Hasheem Thabit fouled by McDermott as he tried to return it. Let's go right back to that last Providence Friars bucket.
Well, what's going to happen is this dribble drive is going to cause a rotation from this side, and eventually you get beat. The beat comes over. He's thinking shot block. He wants to help out his teammate, and in doing so, he gives up a deuce to the guy he's checking.
Price, the junior, quick inbounds. Adrian, and it's Efajuku with the rebound. Providence, when they see openings, they will push the tempo and try to get Connecticut back on their heels. Boy, Hankey just flipped it up and over everything, and that was all Hasheem Thabit.
That's exactly right. He's had a couple thrown back his way. Now he's thinking about it.
Big drive by A.J. Price, who had 24 in their last victory over West Virginia.
Now this 2-2-1 has been good to them. They've gotten 2 turnovers, and what's happened? I said they went to it for energy. Do you feel like there's better activity, better focus from Connecticut?
Absolutely. Here's Efajuku, though, trying to slow everything down for Connecticut. He misfires on the 3. Price feeding Robinson, got way underneath, but you talk about that athletic ability that separates him. Robinson was way underneath the basket, still made it look easy.
Robinson is an NBA-level athlete. There's no question about it. His issues are focus. He needs to be involved and engaged every possession.
Xavier using the screen. The fadeaway jump shot rattles out. The rebound came right back to Providence, however. They're not going to set up another play. Instead, another 3 by McKenzie. That won't fall. They win it right back. Another jump shot by McKenzie. Again off target. This time a whistle and a foul, and that's going to go against the Providence Friars and Hankey.
Connecticut can be special in transition. They are #1 in rebound margin. When they get out on the floor, look out. A.J. Price to the best athlete in a Connecticut jersey. Look at that tough angle. Doesn't matter.
And back inside the dunk, the Huskies leading the Friars by 2, 20-18. Time now to check out tonight's CareerBuilder.com tournament resume. Talking about the Syracuse Orangemen, many are, and whether, Doris, they are on the bubble. Big one coming up this weekend against Marquette.
Well, a real opportunity. I give Coach credit for bouncing back against Seton Hall after that collapse against Pittsburgh at home at the Dome. And I think that probably did them in. They've lost 3 of 4. Clearly, the last 12 games are something the committee will look at. No longer the last 10, the last 12. Some time for them with that game against Marquette and at the Big East tournament, but as of now, and Joe Lunardi has them last 4 out.
Syracuse that lost, Jim Boeheim said, was probably the worst of his career. Thabit flips it in, up and over with the left hand, give him 7. He also has 5 rebounds and 3 block shots. So Hasheem Thabit is showing up big time. Xavier's left wide open. Nobody there to guard him. Even Jim Calhoun had his hands out of his side saying, can we put a body on him?
Yeah, that's going to be better communication. They extend their defense, but you've got to be aware Providence will stretch you deep. That's how Duke hurts people. They go deep to that corner, stretch you that far. It's hard to recover defensively.
The lead double team. Price, quick dish. There's Adrian with a finish. Adrian, one of the top rebounders around, averaging 15 points and 9 rebounds. And UConn opening up a 3-point lead.
Jeff Adrian has the polish of a senior. He no longer takes plays off. He comes every single night.
Kellogg handling the ball, now hands off to McKenzie, and here came Price to steal it clean. A.J. Price will lay it up and in. Certainly one of the candidates for Big East Player of the Year.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. He is the heart, the guts, the leadership. You think about it, there's a ton of talent coming back. I said Adrian has the polish of a senior. He's a junior. Stanley Robinson, an underclassman. You think if the beat comes back, A.J. Price comes back, this team could be #1 in the country preseason next year.
The beat over the block, couldn't get it, but Kellogg did. Alex Kellogg, the 6'7" freshman with some serious hops.
Yeah, he's getting more and more minutes. He's got a real feel for the game, understands how to play, and great energy, just works hard.
Welsh actually started him in that overtime game against Cincinnati. Robinson trying to double team deep into the corner. Price fouled by McKenzie, and A.J. Price went down chest first. Back to Kellogg in that awesome follow moments ago.
One of Providence's focuses was being able to rebound the basketball. Again, rotation, because you get beat on the dribble drive. That opens up that offensive rebounding opportunity.
Youngster out of Columbus, Ohio, can really get up. So Connecticut to inbound here. The game clock continued to run there for several seconds. It finally froze it off the inbounds. If he tried to one-hand it, he got banged, no foul there. And thrown away once again by Providence on the penetration. 4 turnovers for them here in the first half.
Connecticut has given it away 9 times. They're hurting themselves with their decision making.
Dyson into the contest here for Jim Calhoun, trying to find himself. Here's Price. The 3 won't fall. Wiggins with a good pick there, and he laid it up and in. But Wiggins now with 4 points. Providence having some difficulty against the pressure here from UConn. And Big East College basketball continues on ESPN Saturday afternoon in the Carrier Dome as Dominic James and number 20 Marquette battle Dante Green and Syracuse. College basketball presented by Alltel Wireless. Are the Orange on that bubble? Did they in fact slide off? Now Connecticut, they have a bye in the Big East tournament already wrapped up with their 12-4 record inside the conference. Timeout here on the court with about 4.5 minutes left in the first half. Hasheem Thabit, let's get a look at the 7'3" man from Tanzania and the night he's had so far.
Well, after a tough night at Rutgers, this guy has come to understand that extra work means better play, and there's never been a question about his ability on the defensive end. He's got great length. Where he needs to be more polished is the offensive end. So after arriving back on campus, a Rutgers game that the team won, but he went 1 for 7. They arrived in stores at 3 a.m. At 7:30 in the morning, he was in Gamble Pavilion. He was so frustrated with himself Now, last year, anytime Coach Calhoun asked this guy to do extra work, he would sort of moan. He thought it was punishment. Coach Calhoun said, you know, I'm only trying to earn you millions of dollars, Hashim. It's not a bad thing to pay a little dues in the gymnasium.
Yeah, Jim Calhoun's had some pretty good success with big guys, with all kinds of players at Stores as far as their NBA careers are concerned. Here's Dyson from the wing. That three-pointer didn't touch anything.
Now, they don't look sharp. Connecticut does not look sharp at all. One, they're not crisp on the offensive end. Too many turnovers, too many jump shots.
In one of those games, the longer they let Providence hang around, the more troublesome a game like tonight becomes. For Connecticut, despite playing on the road, they are favored here this evening, ranked number 14 in America. Shot clock down to 8. Nice bounce pass, but this, Hashim Thabit with the stuff on McDermott. 4 blocks already for Thabit here in the first half. Man, does he go up strong.
He is a force to be reckoned with, and there are times where you need a mistake eraser. Welcome, Hashim Thabit.
Get in the game. Get in the game.
Back at the dunk here in Providence, the UConn Huskies with a 28-23 lead over the Providence Friars as we check in with Alan Hopkins.
Thanks, Dave. Well, that loss by UConn to Providence back in January really was the springboard to this great end of the season run by UConn. And A.J. Price told me earlier today he actually got into, we'll say, a heated discussion with Jeff Adrian as they basically said we will not let this season become another wasted season like the season before. And he said it was at that point, after they cleared the air and got all the tension out, that they really did become a team, and they've won 12 of 13 since to prove that is the case, Dave.
And that included a 10-game winning streak. A turnover here. Providence unable to convert as McDermott hit the deck, no foul. Some in the crowd wanted it. Wiggins for a launch and too long with the three-pointer. Connecticut can't get those to go. They've been cold beyond the arc. A long-range shot by Fujita will fall, however. He's closing in on 1,000 points in his career. 7 tonight.
Well, the point you made about allowing Providence to hang around. Providence had lost 9 of 10 going into their overtime win against Cincinnati. They shoot it too well to allow them to stay in the game.
Connecticut kicks it over again. Fujita trying to get airborne. That is going to be out off Connecticut. Robinson will come back on now for Calhoun. Tim Welsh's team doing exactly that against a Hall of Fame coach. Hanging in there.
Because Providence shoots the three so well, they are dangerous.
Pinned up against the backboard, but count that one. No block this time for Hashim Thabit.
Now, this is a guy who likes to come with an emphatic block early to send a message. It has to be blocked before it reaches its peak. The official was in perfect position to make the call.
And this one is tied at 28 with less than 3 minutes to go before halftime. A.J. Price kind of demanding a blowout from his team. That one tipped to Wiggins. Nice feed, and on the baseline, it's Hashim Thabit again. And he will go to the line. He has 9 here in the first half.
But it's just simply not a good matchup for a 7-footer who's become better at scoring around the rim. The Providence coach Tim Welsh yesterday at practice was really after his big guys to guard people. He said, you are going to get dunked on and your shot sent into the 5th row if you're not prepared to play. And Hanky was the one guy who was drawing the most iron. He said, you simply must do a better job with your feet, and he didn't listen in that particular instance.
The clock continues to run. 2:25, 2:24. The officials are not seeing it. There's a real clock issue here, and now an official timeout. And they will take a look at it. That's the second time here in the first half they've let that clock run during an inbounds or a foul shot.
Well, that is Carl LeBranch, who's the associate AD in charge of facilities, right behind the guy with the clock. And I think he noticed it, and he went right over. And it's the second time you caught it. You're right.
They're going to reset to 2:37.
So you are going to get.
And when Hall came in and Hanky left with his 3rd foul, and Hashim Thabit was setting up to go to the foul line. There you can see that the clock starting. And everyone in the arena is all for a quick, well-played game. But there goes Fujita down the lane to stuff. Well, you could have driven a truck down that lane.
Yeah, how about the crossover to beat Stanley Robinson, who was simply trying to take away Fujita's right hand. Fujita's very good going to his left.
Connecticut's lead at 1. Adrian trying to dump the pass down low. The nice effort by Wiggins won't fall, though. And Providence with the opportunity to take the lead here. McDermott, yes, left wide open for a two-pointer. He knocks it down.
One of the things you have to identify, and against a team like Providence, you might want to guard from the outside in. Get to the three-point line in transition because you always have the beat as your safety measure. Again, Providence shoots it too well to let them hang in. Here's the other issue for Providence, though. This is a team that has hung around with the likes of Louisville and Georgetown for 30 minutes. Can they play for 40?
Ostry stripped by Xavier. Up ahead for Brooks, maybe a little too fancy instead of finishing it himself, and it cost them a bucket there.
Heck of a catch, though.
Well, the NASCAR season is off to a blistering start. The racing action as exciting as ever. Catch Dale Earnhardt Jr., Carl Edwards, and NASCAR's biggest stars. The NASCAR Nationwide Series heading to Atlanta. It'll be Saturday. Coverage starts with NASCAR Countdown at 1:30 Eastern. 1:22 left before halftime here inside the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence. Doris Berg, Dave O'Brien, Alan Hopkins with you. Providence up by 1. Having a better night shooting it so far than the Huskies. Juku with a big dunk moments ago will shoot a rainbow 3, and it's Adrian to board it. Inside a minute. First half here from the dunk. Ostry will launch. That's rounded up, and how about Adrian? One-handed to stuff it down. Man.
Wow. And he just bailed Ostry out because I thought that was too fast. And that might have earned a quick hook from Coach Calhoun if there were a dead ball, but Adrian bails him out.
Get an idea how strong Jeff Adrian is on a play like that. UConn leading by 1. 27 seconds before the half. McDermott on Adrian here. Efujuku, and he'll draw the foul by Robinson. He got him up in the air off the fake, but back to Adrian.
Well, hard to believe that a year ago, Jeff Adrian wanted to be a finesse player. Coach Calhoun said, son, your job right here, authority. How about that finish? There's no finesse in that body.
Well, we have seen a handful of very impressive dunks in the first half, really by both sides. Efujuku had a splendid move down the lane seconds before that. Well, the last seconds before half. McDermott looking up at the clock. 8 seconds left. Providence looking for the lead at the break. McDermott, the kick out. Xavier, long distance. That one. And there's the buzzer to end the first half. Connecticut will hang on and have the lead at halftime. 33-32. The road team has won the last 7 games of what has been a crazy series between Providence and Connecticut. We are at the break here at the Dunk. Now let's send it back to the studio and our man Reese Davis for the UPS halftime report. Reese, take it away.
All right.
Welcome back to the Dunkin' Donuts Center and ESPN's Thursday Night Showcase. Presented by T. Rowe Price. Ready for the second half. Number 14, Connecticut, with the 1-point lead over the Providence Friars. Doris Berg, Dave O'Brien, and Alan Hopkins with you. A.J. Price and the Huskies said they were going to come out to try and blow the Providence Friars off the floor. Doris, that certainly hasn't happened. And Providence may be the aggressor. They have 9 steals at halftime.
They were able to turn Connecticut over. I thought Connecticut's judgment on the offensive end was not always terrific. At times, jump shot happy. But if you're Providence, you've got to keep turning them over, and you've got to keep committing to your glass work. They did a spectacular job rebounding the ball in the first half.
Hashim Thabit with a very impressive first half for Connecticut as he came up with 10 points and 4 block shots. Let's check in now with Alan Hopkins.
Thanks, Dave. I had a chance to talk to both coaches. First, Providence coach Tim Welsh said too much dribbling. They needed to do a better job of keeping some spacing and keep looking for good shots. He also said they have to keep them off the board, so 12 second half chance points that UConn scored was a big factor. He also says they need to get to the free throw line if they only attempted 2 free throw attempts. For UConn, the point of emphasis was the 12 turnovers. Way too many. They want to be more aggressive, and they also felt like they're too stagnant on the outside. They need to move the ball to get some better shots on the offensive end. Dave and Doris?
Well, Jim Calhoun's team just 1 out of 9 beyond the 3-point arc. That's another thing they have to do better with. Providence Friars 3 out of 12 from beyond the three-point line.
Providence had 7 offensive rebounds of their own. A lot of those coming off Connecticut getting beat on the dribble drive. So they held their own on the offensive glass. It was the defensive glass they need to work on.
Quick strike there by Randall Hankey, the 6'11 junior out of New York. He has 6 points. So the Friars retake the lead in the opening seconds of the second half. UConn coming in with 23 wins, just 6 losses. Providence at 14-14, just trying to make it into the Big East tournament. That's up in the air right now. Thabit with the miss, gets it back, and now it's loose on the baseline, and will stay on this end with 12 seconds on the shot clock here.
Well, just to what Alan said, we've got to keep them off the glass on the offensive end because 12-second chance opportunities. It's the size and the bodies of Connecticut that's bothering Providence.
Robinson, a long three, knocks that one down. Stanley Robinson, who was in and out in the first half, but he has 7. And when he's a force, he can really put this team on his shoulders.
He is scratching the surface of what is to come in Stanley Robinson's career. Superb athlete. If he gets a consistent jump shot, look out. He's a terrific offensive rebounder.
And had a 32-point game back in December. Just a glance as to what he's capable of. And Fajuku off the fake, trying to get a little bit closer. Here's McDermott for the 3. Rebounded away by Robinson. Connecticut, of course, already into the Big East tournament. They have a bye in the first round. This is always one of the best events in all of sports, college or professional, in the Northeast.
Love it when it gets rocking on Saturday night in the tournament. And Georgetown, one of the premier teams in the league. And look at Robinson, back-to-back threes.
Stanley Robinson now at 10. The 6'9 sophomore, and that's the reason for the whistle. Tim Welsh asking for the timeout. Trying to find a way to slow down Stanley Robinson, who has come out firing.
That's 6'9", 200 pounds, and tremendous athleticism. Stanley Robinson has been a bit of an enigma. Not an enigma to start this half. Back-to-back threes to spread out Providence a little bit. When I talked to Jim Calhoun earlier today, he said, listen, this is a team that has Final Four type potential. Our 2 wild cards are Hasheem Thabit. When he scores it and when Stanley Robinson are special, he said, then we become that next level type team. So it'll be interesting to see. I think this team has got to believe it can beat anybody. I think they can play with anybody, Dave. I think they need to think they can beat people.
Robinson got airborne after the theft and had no place to go with it as he was defended in the paint. But made the quick steal. UConn up by 5 here. This is something that Providence has battled all season long. They've been right there with a superior opponent, certainly a superior opponent on paper. Was threatened to break away, then they've been able to cut into that lead, keep it close for a while, for about 35 minutes or so. Nice spin move by Hankey. He's done that twice from close range here in the second half. He has 8.
Yeah, Providence needs to complete games. They need to sustain it for 40 minutes. And you're right, what Hankey's done is he's twice gotten into his move quickly, not allowing Thabit time to react.
So the fast release, and Thabit has not been able to get to it. Although he does have 4 blocked shots already. Adrian so strong with that left hand. Oh, the finish by Hasheem Thabit.
Providence in that 2-3 zone. And Allen talked about this coming out of the locker room. Giving up too many second chance opportunities to a very good team.
Another touch that time. The crowd wanted a goaltend. Welsh is hopping mad. Thought that should have counted his Robinson again. In and out this time. Adrian strong up. Hankey defended him so tough though on the low block. On the run, McKenzie, and now here's Fajuku right down the lane. Hasheem Thabit will send it back.
He likes TV. You said that in break. We had him against Georgia Tech. He had 20 and 10. He got off to a fast start blocking shots in the first half. Twice on the pipes. That is tremendous.
5 stuffed right back in the faces of the Friars here so far tonight. Connecticut on top 41-36. McDermott on Adrian trying to blow right by him, and he does. with a vicious slam.
That is a tough check. Now, Jeff Adrian, the NBA and college basketball, the four-man increasingly is playing on the perimeter, so you're used to that, but not from that position. I mean, that's their lead guard right now, Jeff McDermott at 6'8", 235.
A terrific night for dunks.
Wow.
On the highlight reel. Check in on SportsCenter's top 10 plays. You might see a few of those. Ostry in the corner. 10 on the shot clock. The Beats took one right in the chin as he barreled in, but he committed the foul. That's going to be his second one. We talked about the dunks tonight. This is a 6'8" Jeff McDermott right by Adrian to slam it down. Connecticut up by just 3 here with about 16 minutes left in the second half in our Thursday night showcase. And Big East College Hoops continues on ESPN Saturday in the Carrier Dome. Dominic James, the number 20 Marquette, taking on Dante Green. And the Syracuse Orange desperate for a big win. College basketball presented by Alltel Wireless on ESPN Saturday at 4 Eastern. Depending on who you talk to, Syracuse is either on the bubble, in the tournament, or completely out of it. In particular, after that devastating loss to Pitt.
I thought when they lost that game, they were out. They bounced back nicely and beat Seton Hall, which probably hurts Seton Hall's chances. There's still time remaining. I mean, I don't think you can count Seton Hall out. As of right now, yes, there's no question they're out. They're probably out. I just think there are too many tough losses for them. But I'll tell you this, tune into that game. You know why? You had two of the best freshmen in the Big East, the likely Big East Rookie of the Year in Dante Green. Johnny Flynn is sensational. Paul Harris has raised his level. There's a lot of talent there.
Xavier with the follow-away three. Jeff Xavier with the bucket. And now has 10 points.
So
that one ties it up, Doris.
Yeah, that long-distance shooting will help this team stay in a lot of games. They'll trade 3 for 2.
Ostry trying to answer. It's been a cold night. Robinson aside. Stolen away by Xavier. UConn has not done a good job finding him. He misfires on the long shot, but it comes back to McDermott. And now Tim Welsh will have his team set up a play here. Tied at 41. Connecticut yet to get fluid offensively. This has not been one of their better nights inside the Big East, that's for sure. They've had many terrific nights. Efujuku with the leaner, bodied up against the Beats. No block that time, but he denies.
Providence staying in this zone. It's a 2-3, but their wings come up high on it, and they'll pass people through. You need lots of communication in this zone.
Price trying to make a move, leans in, flips it up. It will not fall. Hashim Thabit collected the rebound, but then has it stripped, and down goes McDermott.
I think Thabit is getting frustrated. He is getting frustrated with some contact. He's not handled all the basketballs, and it's starting to show. He had one stripped on the prior possession. He's taken some bumps down there. He feels like people are grabbing him, and rightly so, but you're not going to get that call. And there's the frustration foul.
Thabit will now walk off with his third personal foul. Flipping McDermott to the deck. You're right, all frustration there. Several times he's taken some shots to the jaw and the forehead. Just in the fray, not actual fouls. Nothing intentional there, but he is getting a little chippy about it.
Yeah, and Coach Calvin would tell you he's young, and his pride gets hurt, and when that happens, he underperforms. Now he's going to be over there with his coach, and this is huge for Connecticut. They're going to have to learn how to play without him for stretches. Gavin Edwards will become big.
McDermott giving it up. Kellogg feeds off to Xavier. Shot clock is down to 3. Does he see it? Efujuku, yes! A rainbow 3 with a shot clock winding down. Give him a dozen points. And that was the loudest ovation we have heard tonight since they pulled a guy out of the crowd moments ago and he hit a half-court shot to win a prize. The foul here will go against Kellogg. His first with 13:37 remaining. Back to Efujuku, and that with that shot clock about to expire.
How about the dribble and the step back to make sure you're behind the arc? Rick Pitino called Providence the scariest shooting team I've seen. Now, you've seen it from multiple positions. Xavier, Efujuku, McKenzie. And they're playing without Dwayne Williams, one of their better three-point shooters.
And right now playing without Hasheem Thabeet. Here's Price, too strong. Rebound comes back out to Wiggins. Wiggins on the drive, tried to feed on the right around Adrian, and he's fouled on his way to the rack.
Providence is giving as good as they're getting on the defensive end. On the weak side, as Adrian was going for that basketball, he had a forearm in his stomach. It is no place for the faint of heart in the Big East.
Kellogg fouling Adrian, sending the junior from Brookline, Massachusetts to the line. He has really upped his production over the last 8 games. Jeff Adrian has averaged a double-double, 17 points and 10 rebounds. Greg Austry back on now for Calhoun. Price to the bench. And Jerome Dyson will also return to the court.
I don't think this is a bad thing. And Gavin Edwards was huge. There was a game earlier in the year where Thabeet gets in foul trouble. And that may happen in the NCAA tournament game. How will they respond? This is why this experience is good for Connecticut moving forward.
Providence by 2 at the ball here. Second half from the Dunkin' Donuts Center. Juku, he travels with it. Very indecisive there, and Tim Welsh's team gives it right back. And 9 turnovers here. Connecticut has turned it over 15 times.
And it's just not crisp. They haven't looked sharp all night. Other than the time in the first half where they came with that 2-2-1 pressure and were able to turn Providence over for a couple of stretches in a row, that's where their body language is at its best. Wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Calhoun go back to that full court pressure, but you got to make shots.
Austry bumps on the hip, and he's fouled by Efajuku, picks up his first. Tim Welsh doing a very good job running new bodies in time and time again. Marshawn Brooks is back on the floor. He had such a big impact in their win against Cincinnati to score 15.
He's been able to lengthen his rotation as the season has gone on with Kellogg and Marshawn Brooks.
Connecticut throwing it away. Up ahead Efajuku, and he will lay it up and in. So off the turnover off the inbounds, it's 14 for Efajuku.
So Connecticut, they can still at this point finish second, third, or fourth, and they're jeopardizing their possibility for that if they lose this.
Edwards misfiring in close. Adrian battles for the rebound. 3 white shirts around him, and finally the whistle. And the foul with 12:38 remaining. Could have been 1 of 3 on that occasion as he was triple teamed right underneath the basket. They got Kellogg for his 3rd foul in about 2.5 minutes.
Well, what Tim Welsh thought was there was a quality double team on the baseline. He gets very upset. But clearly the official a little bit closer than he is.
Austry trying to get it in again. Second time they've had difficulty with that.
Well, they've mishandled some inbounds passes, flat out thrown it away.
Wiggins on the dribble drive. Deflected away, another turnover, but they give it right back. The beat back in the game. Wiggins. Boy, he has been a little bit erratic with the ball, to say the least.
I think the guy who needs to start taking over and getting control of what kinds of shots Connecticut gets is A.J. Price. He is not on the floor right now. Dyson, Wiggins, and Austry instead are.
Austry wants to go one-on-one, and it's just ripped right out of his hands by McDermott. Bigger, stronger player now. Adrian with a little elbow there, but McDermott able to get it back.
We said there was some extra motivation on both sides, and things starting to get chippy. How the officials control this from this point forward will be important.
A.J. Price threw down the gauntlet in the morning paper in Hartford, Connecticut, saying, in effect, they disrespected us the last time we played Providence, and we want to come here. We mean to blow them out. That has not happened tonight. Austry with the leaner. Rebound tipped right to Hasheem Thabeet. He's tangled up and fouled with 11.5 minutes to go. He has 12 rebounds in the contest, but he's also in some foul trouble. It's Providence by 4. Providence leading the UConn Huskies 46-42 here A look at our Columbia Sportswear game track to this point. Hashim Thabit with 6 blocks so far tonight.
Amazingly, the road team has won each of the last 7 games in this, and Efajuku, who has the potential for the spectacular, has been pretty good from deep.
A.J. Price was not real happy with the behavior of the Providence Friars last time they met. His comments in the paper today, they don't know how to win. It showed. They were laughing and mocking. I usually have a lot of respect for the other team, but they showed a lack of respect last game. Providence knocking off UConn, and that when he said we want to blow them out, that's what we're going there to play for.
Well, they've not been sharp, and sometimes when you let your emotions get involved in the game and play for a motivation other than to be sharp and to be crisp and to win games, you lose your focus. They haven't been sharp. It's either that, or as you said, they've already achieved that bye, Dave. So really, they're playing for a 2, 3, or 4 seed. They know they're not going to play that first day in New York City. It's one or the other with them.
Thank you at the foul on Adrian. So Adrian will go to the line. And for more on this story, let's go to Alan Hopkins.
Well, the one thing that Providence guard Jeff Xavier told me earlier, he said if they think they're going to come here and end our season as Providence is just trying to battle to scrape into the Big East tournament, they have another thing coming. We're going to be ready, and if we weren't before, we certainly have no excuse now. So maybe Price's words working against them as they're in for a tough battle here the rest of the way, Dave.
Well, you call that locker room fodder, obviously, Alan. And Providence is a team that is scrapping for its life and perhaps for its coach's life. There's been a lot of speculation in here in Providence about Tim Welsh's job security. He's got 1 more year in his contract, but clearly his guys again competing tonight.
9 points for Adrian this evening. 46-44 Providence. Ball sets the screen for McDermott. Goes down the lane, trying to give it back to the big guy. And he throws it back to Robinson on the tip. Xavier. That won't fall. And another whistle.
This is going to be a foul on Ray Hall. He gave Jeff Adrian a shove in the back.
So Hall picks up his first. 11:08 remaining here in the second half in Providence.
Well, what do you notice? They're already shooting free throws with 11 minutes to go. So Providence defensively, too many fouls. When you look at the disparity in free throws made versus how many Connecticut's opponents have attempted, it is a drastic difference.
Adrian first end of the 1-and-1 good. He is a 61% foul shooter, 10 points tonight. Jonathan Cawley back on for Hall. As Welsh continues to move new bodies in. So another double-figure game here for Jeff Adrian. He makes both. Tied at 46.
How about Connecticut has taken 364 more free throws than their opponent. It has been a staple of Connecticut basketball tradition since Jim Calhoun's arrival.
That and great shot blocking teams are doing them both this year. Big reason they have won 23 games. Brooks on the drive, got right by Wiggins, flipped it up, but won't drop for him. Wiggins ultra quick, taking on Xavier one-on-one and leaves it in.
I like the pace in which he plays. Just get out, transition, score it quickly.
Doug Wiggins with 6. Colley trying to answer on the other end, missed his own tip. Brooks was fouled. A.J. Price with a personal. UConn by 2.
If you're Connecticut, with as much of a struggle as it's been on the offensive end, get out and transition. I love that inside-out dribble. People want to call that a travel. That is an inside-out. You get the defender's shoulder turned inward and go opposite direction.
First foul, incidentally, on Price. As Brooks connects on the first one. Efajuku back on to give Tim Welsh's team some extra life. He is instant energy. Brooks smooth at the line. He makes both. This one we may keep an eye on for the rest of the half. As many times as we may be tied, 48-48. That has been the nature of this rivalry between Connecticut and Providence. These kind of games as Price backs it out.
These are 2 good scoring teams. It's just that they both turned it over so often.
Adrian looking to make a move on McDermott. McDermott takes the flop, and he winds up forcing Adrian into the foul. That's number 2 on Adrian. But McDermott's very good at this.
Well, it's the second time he did it, and you just force the decision to make, or force the official to make a decision. It is the left arm of Jeff Adrian and the shoulder down that probably contributes to the call. But boy, that's generally one where you see the Big East official sort of raise his arms and say, get up, there's no foul there.
There's half waiting for that. McDermott has bought very smartly a couple of fouls against Connecticut. Xavier back out to McDermott. Left open, and when he is, he's pretty deadly.
This is a guy who's got a complete game. There are no holes in Jeff McDermott's.
Wiggins again a little bit erratic and traveling with it. As much as he can give you that shot of life, Doris, sometimes he's a little irresponsible with the ball.
Yeah, decision making, always so important. So that gets Austrie in, Wiggins out. Now, Austrie's a guy who plays a little bit slower than they would like.
Jim Calhoun kind of shrugging his shoulders at Wiggins when he came to the bench, as if he was saying, what are you doing? Why that? See the turnovers. That's something Calhoun is not happy about for sure. Alan Hopkins said he talked about it at halftime with his team. Juku trying to make his move, a jump into the lane, lays it up strong, and that will roll in for him.
The two best athletes going head-to-head, Robinson versus Juku. And again, that dribble drive on either side is opening up offensive rebounding.
Providence opening up a 52-48 lead. Price zips the pass inside to Adrian. He's bottled up, 3 white shirts around him. It spits free to Price. He forces up the shot. It'll roll off, and he draws the foul. E.J. Price showing some strength just to get that one up around the rim. And the NASCAR season is off to a blistering start. The racing action is as exciting as ever. Catch Dale Earnhardt Jr., Carl Edwards, and NASCAR's biggest stars as the NASCAR Nationwide Series heads to Atlanta. All starting at 1:30 Eastern on Saturday. So Price at the line to shoot 2. Colley fouled him. And then the first one around and out for the junior out of Amityville, New York.
But I like how Providence is competing inside. They do not have the bodies to match up with Connecticut, so they're being as physical as the officials will allow them. The guards are giving them some assistance, Dave. They're scrapping, they're reaching. Yes. Are they fouling? Yes. They're basically giving the officials an opportunity to say, am I going to call it every single time? Yes or no? And because they can't, they're competing.
And Connecticut was already into 1-1 about 3 minutes ago.
Connecticut all man-to-man. I mean, they will mix in a little zone since George Blaney has been on Coach Calhoun's staff, but the staple of this team is their man-to-man defense.
Xavier gets free. Nothing but net for Jeff Xavier. He's been coming off the bench. And a big three here. Timeout, Connecticut. Providence 55, Connecticut 49. Doris Berg, Providence College on a 9-1 run. That forced the timeout for Jim Calhoun, 55-49.
Well, Jeff McDermott in the huddle as they went to the break after Providence drained yet another 3. Look at Jeff McDermott. This is what leadership is. He is making sure his guys are prepared to compete. Alan Hopkins talked about it. Providence said, if you think we're going away simply because you complain that we drained too many threes and showboated a little bit in your building, we're not going anywhere.
Well, neither side has opened up any kind of lead to showboat to this point. Robinson was hot in the early moments of this half. Collects his own miss, finds Adrian, and from behind the stop by Jonathan Colley. You talk about the physical nature of guys like Colley coming off that bench.
I admire what Providence is doing right now. They are playing hard, and despite the fact that they're a little bit outsized with the beat and maybe you don't have the bodies to match up, you just compete. It's about the want to.
Colley at 6'8", Robinson airborne, and he's fouled in the act of shooting the two-pointer. And will go to the line. 55-49. Providence trying to play their way into the Big East tournament. UConn's already there, live from the Dunkin' Donuts Center. Doris Burke, Dave O'Brien, and Alan Hopkins alongside. Place is starting to get loud. Xavier with the foul to send Robinson to the line. You see the run by Providence to gain this lead. This is about the time in many games throughout the season that Providence has faded. against a superior opponent. Can they hang in there tonight?
We saw it against Louisville. We saw it against Georgetown. Compete for 30, 32, 33 minutes. Can you finish a game? And sometimes, again, because they lost 9 of 10 going into that overtime win against Cincinnati, when you don't win all those close ones, it has an impact on your psyche. You stop believing you can win those.
Robinson with 12 points. A 4-point lead here for Providence. Connecticut hitting their foul shots for sure.
Now, this is not their 2-2-1 pressure. This is Jim Calhoun being angry. He's over there very animated. He went full out 55 man-to-man defense full court. Sometimes Coach Calhoun is more passionate than the Connecticut players, and that's a problem.
Brooks thought about a 3, backs off. Here's Efijuku. Very quick to his left. Another rainbow. That'll be a 2-pointer. Efijuku really gets an arc on his jumpers, and he knocks them down. He has 16.
He gets great elevation, which makes it difficult to contest.
Adrian going to work. Here's Dyson for 3. Got an excellent look, but it won't fall. McDermott comes out of the pack with it for Providence. From the corner, Xavier, nothing but air that time. A 6-point lead for the Friars. The beat tips it to himself and banks it in.
You see his hands. I mean, he does a good job gathering that. But if there's one area where the beat has got to get better for the next level, his hands. That's got to be a short catch and a dunk on somebody's head.
Has the double-double at 14 and 12. Inside 7 minutes left. But Connecticut is behind on the road here in the Big East. McDermott looking for a screen. Xavier, shot clock at 4, lets it fly. All net on the 2-pointer. He has 16.
We said in the first half, this is an incredibly scary shooting team. Multiple positions, lots of different guys. And finally, the Providence Civic Center coming alive.
Right in line with this becoming Providence's biggest lead of the game at 6 points. We'll see just how much Welsh's team has learned about hanging on to a lead. They have let so many close games get away. Shot clock down to 6. Ostry doubled up, forced the shot. That one actually inside to Robinson, and he's fouled, and will go to the line.
Jeff Xavier, one of the most dangerous shooters in the Big East. A guy who can stick it in or outside of the arc. Providence does a good job screening it. They've got a 6-point lead, under 6 to play. Can they hang on?
Here in Providence, the Friars are trying to sweep the season series from the UConn Huskies. Efijuku's got fired.
Well, he is a combination of size, athletic ability, and a wealth of offensive talent. He goes opposite the screen here, gets up, and finishes with authority. Give some credit to him here. A little fadeaway jump shot against a bigger defender. But I think their big people have done a tremendous job of screening action. Colley and Ray Hall and McDermott. He's gotten some assistance from the guys around him.
Efijuku just committed the foul to send Stanley Robinson to the line. That is 3 on Wayme Efijuku, has 16 points. He's also knocked down 3 3-pointers.
I have a baseball question quickly while we're waiting for these free throws. Reese Davis just gave us a 30 at 30. $700,000+ for Jonathan Papelbon. Is it just the way the system is set up that that's the only amount of money he can make? And if it isn't, if they could have given him more, in the long run, does that, make any bad feelings between Papelbon and the organization?
Well, he was asking for $900,000 after a spectacular season. Usually those things in the end are taken care of with a gigantic contract, which he's going to have. He is probably the best closer in Major League Baseball, certainly among the top 3. And eventually he will have his payday, but under the system, you don't have to pay him everything right now.
I just wondered what the long-term implication of that was between he and the organization. It'd be interesting because he's terrific talent.
I think the day he gets that World Series ring, come April, everything will be just fine again. If there is any hurt feelings. 59-55 Providence.
Let's watch how Providence manages the game. You want good shot opportunities every trip.
Efijuku drawing the foul. He is drawing so much attention to himself right now on his drives to the basket. That was Hasheem Thabeet's 4th foul, and that brings up a little more emotion from the crowd. They know the big fella's in trouble now with 5.5 minutes to go.
Well, let's remember that Wayne Efujuku was so far in Tim Welsh's doghouse for a stretch of this season, Dave, that there were stretches where he simply wasn't playing. And they had an individual meeting. They sat down. Tim said, I need you to take a step toward me, Wayne. I need you to do things on a consistent basis in practice and on the floor. And you clearly could see tonight Wayne Efujuku has got a wealth of ability.
And 17 points for Tim Welsh. Around and out with the second one. A 5-point lead for the Friars, trying to spring the upset, even though Providence is the home team tonight. Connecticut ranked number 14 and has been the hottest team in the Big East for so long. That shot blocked right back by McDermott.
Well, their offense against this zone has just been abysmal. They are under 40% shooting, Connecticut.
McDermott will have a nice night on the stat sheet, but not everything's showing up. That pass, beautiful wraparound bounce to Hankey, who has 10 points and another timeout for Connecticut. But Jeff McDermott leading this latest charge for Providence.
Well, and Gavin Edwards is up off the bench because Coach Calhoun is hot about the defense of his team. A block shot and then the pick and roll. And this guy McDermott at 6'8", they move him to the point guard position. They beat Cincinnati. How about that wraparound pass? Tough to check 6'8", 235 as he's going baseline, and that nice easy bounce back. He plays like a point forward.
He does, and he has 4 assists in this one, along with 10 points and 8 rebounds.
All you have to know about Jeff McDermott and his skills, John Thompson III said, that is a guy I would love to coach. His skill set is complete.
Connecticut in serious trouble. Too many turnovers tonight. And aside from that flurry of threes at the top of the second half by Robinson, they have not hit their long-distance shots tonight.
2 things Providence has done well in their zone. One, there's been pretty good ball pressure. And once it's gone into the paint, they've been as physical as the officials will allow them to be.
Adrian, he's denied. McDermott was there along with Hankey.
They're enjoying the competition.
Quick steal by Connecticut. Dyson right down the lane to lay it in. He attacked the rim.
Yeah, well, as a ball handler, until somebody stops your forward progress, you attack it with the mindset to score, and that's why they need Dyson. Now, Dyson is a guy who, when they trailed by 10 to Cincinnati, he scored 10 points. Look out for Jerome Dyson right now.
Really gives them some swagger they need right now because McDermott is leading Providence to the upset. He has 12, the stuff, to give him 12 and 8. Robinson lost one inside the three-point line. He has 16 points to keep Connecticut within 5. McDermott, a little shove there by Dyson as he came off a little bump from Xavier. So it has certainly gotten physical and tough. 64-59 Providence. John Boom-Shambi, thank you very much. Action certainly heating up here in Providence because the Friars have upset on their minds. They've already knocked off Connecticut once this year. They did that behind 14 threes. Well, they've only hit 6 of those tonight. This evening, so far, Doris, they're doing it with gritty, tough, determined defense and very physical play.
Connecticut has not executed at all against the zone. They haven't had their traditional runouts and transition, or as many as Coach Calhoun would like. And his team in a little bit of trouble. We talked about the extra motivation coming in, but they have not played sharp.
Now the Friars still have one Big East game left here against Villanova on Saturday. Did not face them this year. Could be the one that gets them into the Big East tournament as the number 12 seed. Trying to win here tonight would be a huge victory against the number 14 team in the country. Xavier on the drive just kicked it literally off his sneaker and out of bounds.
Well, clearly John Shambi is talking about your abilities as an announcer and not your athletic career.
Well,
when he says you're his hero.
Because he knows me far too well to make that mistake, no question. Well, we have seen some athletic dunks here tonight. It's been a great night for that. On on the baseline. Robinson trying to feed Adrian inside. Kicked out by Providence with 22 on the shot clock.
Providence has closed on the ball in the zone incredibly well. Anytime there's a catch in a post, you see multiple white jerseys converging on the inside guys of Connecticut.
Time beginning to run thin on Connecticut to pull it together here tonight and avoid the upset. Shot clock down to 10. Long range shot in and out by Price. Boy, it was inside the cylinder, but thrown away by Hankey. Looking for an outlet, just tossed it right out of play.
And Tim Welsh doing what he should do. Be positive in that instance. The kid feels badly enough. He's probably a little bit shaken. You need his head right back in the game. But he's over there living and dying on every possession. I admire these guys because you put your fate into the hands of 18 to 22-year-olds. That's not an easy thing to do.
Hashim Thabit back on the floor with 4 personal fouls now for Connecticut. Price bouncing for Austria. Really forced the shot to the side of the backboard on the run out now. Xavier with McKenzie. McKenzie trying to follow the miss, but it's Hashim Thabit. And the whistle and the foul will go against Providence and McKenzie on the reach. As he tried to slow down Hashim Thabit, that'll be McKenzie's second. So a little frenetic here inside 3 minutes to go inside the dunk. But still a 5-point lead for the Friars.
Austria out, Dyson in. Dyson's got great speed. He's very good taking chances defensively. So if you need to set up your pressure, you got to get Austria back on the floor until after the first free throw here.
Connecticut very good at the line tonight. 14 out of 16. Thabit perfect. Continues to be so.
A real improvement for him. He touched on this earlier in the game. He said he was uncomfortable a year ago at the free throw line. Action stops. The place goes quiet. It's unlike any other time in a basketball game.
And he shot just 51% last year, up near 70, and looking really smooth at the line.
Well, that gives you hope for the guy's future. He does have good soft touch.
It's a 3-point lead for the Friars. Will this be the night they hang on?
Well, this is a 1-possession game. And again, I talked about getting good shot opportunities every trip.
Efajuku, how about that acrobatic shot as he lays it in?
Special move right there. Great attack. That's how you win games. Attack the basket.
19 points for him as A.J. Price, the All-America candidate, is fouled.
Wayne Efajuku, NBA guys and NCAA coaches will tell you when the game's on the line, attack the rim. At least give yourself an opportunity for an easy deuce or a chance to get to the free throw line. Price returns the favor by getting to the foul line.
Fouled by McKenzie. 8 points for A.J. Price. He came in averaging 15 and 17 a game in Big East play. And it was A.J. Price that really called out Providence for their swagger and what he thought was disrespectful behavior when Providence defeated Connecticut back in January. He had not forgotten. He was angry about it. Connecticut came in with a bit of a chip on his shoulder about that. But it's been a difficult night for A.J. Price. He is just 3 out of 11 shooting.
Again, you wonder if the emotions got involved. Instead of focusing on the game plan and winning yet another game, your focus is revenge. That's never good motivation.
Just 2 points for Price in the second half. Well, there's still time to make a difference. 2:17 to go. McDermott dribbling out of that backcourt, now flings it ahead. Efajuku, Price taking a little bit of a flop there. The long shot knocked down by Brian McKenzie. And that one really hurts Connecticut.
Well, there was a lot of contact for a no call.
Price wins it back and knocks it down from 15 feet. Timeout Calhoun in Connecticut. Price with 11 now. Quick strike to cut the lead to 5.
Yeah, and he's going right to John Cal because remember the 2 charge calls when McDermott drew them. Now, was there more contact on those than there was on that open court play we just saw? That's why Coach Calhoun is hot. He thought there was enough contact for an offensive foul.
1 minute, 57 seconds left. Let's go back to what you're talking about here.
And I just make the point that McDermott early in the game, had that little bit of contact on a similar play, but on the baseline. Price does a nice job anticipating. So I think there's a point to be made there by Coach Calhoun.
And McDermott would say, I'm a little better actor.
That's right.
I've caught a couple of those tonight. Look at the reset here. Connecticut down to 1 timeout. Providence with 3 left. Possession arrow goes to the Huskies. Tim Welsh has coached a very, very smart game. This is a man under a lot of heat right now. Many in this crowd tonight would like to see him fired, but on the verge of knocking off Connecticut and sweeping the season series from the Huskies.
Yeah, local columnist Jim Donaldson a couple of weeks ago essentially said it is time for a change. He has been under that duress for the last month of the season. It has been a tough go for Tim Welsh.
A foul by Jerome Dyson as he reaches in on Xavier. Not to say that one nice win would save someone's career, but given the issues right now in play at Providence and his fate very much in the air, looks like he may be on the verge of knocking off Connecticut. He's been a very active player in this.
Well, this is huge because if they don't go to the Big East tournament this year, that would be twice in 3 years where you're excluded from the conference tournament. That's tough for your fans to stomach. And at some point, your customers matter. They're buying the tickets.
Xavier with another one coming. He's at 72% at the line. A 6-point lead for the Friars. Xavier's had a fine second half here. He makes them both.
But you can see this team has been well coached throughout the course of this game. They're competing again.
Price airborne, thrown away to McDermott. On the run out, here's Xavier. Leaves it off for Efujuku. Another spectacular dunk. 21 for Efujuku. And UConn is reeling. Timeout. Look at Welsh fired up. The loudest the building has been tonight. 73-60 for Providence.
Well, when you're taking chances and pushing the pace, you can make some bad decisions. A nice challenge defensively. The kick out by Price is picked off beautifully. And because you have bad floor balance on the defensive end, look at this. Pretty pass from Xavier to McKenzie.
And Tim Welsh say, get back, timeout, Connecticut.
You know what? When McKenzie went to the sideline, Tim Welsh was in his face for a long time, and I was sitting there saying, well, is he happy? Is he mad? I think by that reaction that we just saw, McKenzie might have been celebrating, and Welsh was saying, get back. There's a minute and 38. You've got defense to play.
Calhoun burning his final timeout. 1:38 remaining in this contest. It has been quite a night here at the Dunk for some spectacular dunks.
I can hear you now.
Our Thursday night showcase continues here from the Dunkin' Donuts Center. The biggest lead of the game for Providence. Up by 9. Time running out on UConn. Adrian lays it high off the window for 2.
Gets him up in there. Full court man-to-man pressure. Look to trap the basketball and cheat up a pass.
Efujuku across to break the pressure, and Wiggins has to tie him up. With a minute 20 left, he commits the foul.
This is the old Jim Balvano strategy. Stretch it out. Make them beat you from the free throw line.
Number 1 on Wiggins. At the line tonight, Providence has not spent a whole lot of time. They're just 6 out of 8. Providence, they do this year after year, shooting so many more foul shots than their opponents. 17 out of 20. So both sides have made them. Efujuku makes the first. Jonathan Colley back on, and Hankey will step off. He gets a nice warm round of applause by the faithful here in Providence. Juku, good foul shooter at 71%, makes the pair. 75-66, Doris.
You'd like a three, you don't need it. What you do need is efficient possessions.
Austria trying to wriggle inside, off the glass, and draws the foul with 1:13 remaining. So Providence commits the personal. The foul on Xavier, his second. And it'll be Austria. It's an excellent foul shooter going to the line for Connecticut.
Both sides going offense, defense, possessions. Player each at the scorer's table ready to check in.
Austria hits about 87%. Hankey back on. And so is Gavin Edwards for Connecticut.
You need to make the second because you want to apply pressure. You're trying to get turnovers before you foul. Now, if you don't get a foul or a turnover quickly enough, then you foul. But this is big. You got to make this.
Austria cool at the line. Connecticut only shooting 37%. Xavier breaks the pressure.
Now space out.
Juku is fouled again with 1:05 left. One of the most storied rivalries in college basketball coming your way Saturday on ESPN. Tyler Hansbrough and top-ranked North Carolina taking on the Cameron Crazies. That's number 5 Duke. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV on ESPN at 9 o'clock Eastern.
Hansbrough 23 points, 10 rebounds. He and Michael Beasley probably neck and neck for player of the year. You've got a huge opportunity to make a statement if you're Hansbrough on a national stage, Saturday night prime. But you know what? I don't think Hansbrough thinks a thing about that.
Though I agree with you. Nothing seems to bother him, even getting smashed in the nose. Juku makes the pair of those. He has 25 points. 77-68. Connecticut has to think about threes. Here's Wiggins. He hits it. The three-pointer for Doug Wiggins. A 6-point lead. The press again and the foul as Xavier will go to the line.
Remember how many timeouts Connecticut had to use when Providence was putting the run on them. They've got none left, so all the action gets stopped on fouls.
Wiggins second. Xavier 72% foul shooter. Welsh and company seemingly determined not to let this one slip away here at the dunk. Providence has made 10 out of 12 at the stripe tonight. Under a minute left. And they're going to go back to the monitor here. The crew will take a look to see if that last basket was a 3 or a 2 for Connecticut. And can you see Wiggins' toes? Tough from that angle. With an official kind of blocking that view. We'll see if we can pick it up here.
Well, in order to turn over their initial thought, it's got to be definitive evidence otherwise.
Ruled on the floor as a three-pointer. Good shot, but going to try and get a better look there. I could not tell on either of the angles we showed you if he had a toe up against or two toes up against the line. So that's the reason for it. We're actually being asked by the crew if they have any different angles. That's the same problem we had. They're going to keep it as a three-pointer because that's what it was ruled on the floor. Now, we were asked directly, Doris and I, if we had a better angle, but those were the three useful angles that they got and we got. So they could not overturn that. Xavier knocks down the first. Has 18 points.
You finish an overtime win against Cincinnati, so now you have a history of success for Providence in a close situation. You've been able thus far to follow it up.
Xavier and And St. Joe's coming your way as soon as we finish it up. Here's Robinson's three. That was inside the cylinder and came out. That's happened to him a couple of times here in the second half. And now it's nothing but a 3-on-none of the dunk by Brooks. Would appear to be the put-away blow here. 81-71. 40 seconds left. Austri raining a three. He misfires. Dyson back up. That goes from two-point range. More pressure now from the Huskies.
I gotta love that Tim Welsh challenged his interior guys at practice all afternoon yesterday. He went at them. If they missed an assignment in practice, he was in their face. He said, you will get dunked on or you will get your shot sent into the fourth row. And guess what? His guys were prepared to compete in the post. They did a tremendous job in that zone, closing on the catch in the paint.
And Tim Welsh playing 10 men tonight. Leaning heavily on this man at the line, Jeff Xavier, in particular in the second half, and he continues to knock down one foul shot after another. He is 20. And Providence about to include this as a terrific win, beating Connecticut both times this season.
And they break the streak. The last 7 times in this matchup, the road team had won. Providence holds serve here at the dunk.
Wiggins, his three won't fall in. Austri right back up, his two-pointer, nothing but air. Dyson, yes, from the corner. Ruled a three-pointer. He has 7. 83-76, another foul, but 14 seconds left. And the fans here inside the dunk want to celebrate. Tim Welsh hasn't had as many opportunities to do that in a very troubled season as he would like. But a sweet win as they're trying to make the Big East tournament. And right now, as of this moment, in a 3-way tie with DePaul and St. John's for that 12th seed.
They'll play Villanova next, a Villanova team that is trying to get to 9-9, 500 in the conference. Villanova, 18-11 overall, 59th in the computer, 57th. You wonder about Villanova. Should they go on a run here? Let's say they put it together. Will the foul calls, the last-second foul calls, the North Carolina State, the Georgetown situation, does that play at all in the minds of the committee?
Austri is 3 an air ball, and these are the final seconds. Connecticut will stop fouling, and Providence will win this one tonight here at the Dunkin' Donuts Center by a final score of 85-76. They upset Connecticut. Very nice win for Tim Welsh against Jim Calhoun. And many of the fans coming onto the court, the students, as they race onto the floor to celebrate the win against the number 14 UConn Huskies, and they sweep the season series from Connecticut. This at times has been a pretty volatile rivalry, but tonight Providence just outplayed Connecticut.
A gutsy win in the midst of tough circumstances. Your coach's job has been questioned over the last month. They put an overtime win against Cincinnati after giving up a double-digit lead, and at home against Connecticut. Put it together.
Yeah, very well done by Tim Welsh tonight. He is joined by our Alan Hopkins. Alan.
Coach Welsh, you wanted to make sure your players knew exactly what A.J. Price had said about his team. How much did that motivate you and your club tonight?
You know, that's just kids. They all say stuff. Our guys say crazy stuff. They do. They're a really great team. Hall of Fame coach. Our kids played hard for the win, and I'm just proud of our players. They got through a lot this year, but we're starting to play well.
What about your matchup against UConn allows you to be successful?
Well, I don't know if it's a matchup. I think we caught them on the night where we played well again. You know, we came in motivated. We know we had to do to get to New York. We're not there yet, but you know, we started to say March is March. It's a new month for us because January and February weren't very nice. So we're just happy. We're 2-0 in March with one more to go.
Thanks, Coach. We'll see you down the road. Take care. Dave?
All right, Tim Welsh will certainly take it. His team now has the tiebreaker, that advantage over DePaul. Coming up next, it's Xavier and St. Joe's. For Alan Hopkins and Doris Burke and our